Hello. So I had this great idea to open 1,000 presents after I woke up from macroing crystallized joys for the past night. And basically, when I woke up, I got 4,500 crystallized joys, and I basically opened 1,000 presents. It took 3 hours. It should be playing on the top left of the screen if I'm not like stupid. I should have put that in. I'm gonna put that in post editing, but it should be top left of the screen. I opened 1,000 presents, and this is just a video on how and basically what I got from the 1,000 presents. So starting with what I got, so let's just go all the way to the top. I got 42 gears. Frosty toppers are considered legendary, and elemental resonance and snow orbs are rare, are epics. 9 weapons. All of the weapons are legendaries. Shards are rare, so 180 shards. Pseudo artifacts are legendary, which is Echo Shard and Lineage Shard. Or sorry, Soul Dust and Lineage Shard. But Echo Shards are also a pseudo artifact, but they're also a legendary. So that's 10 legendaries. Scroll wise are they're all common from what I remember. Wait, let me just open a present just to show the rarity of each item. So, scrolls should be common. Okay, scrolls. Oh my gosh, what is the luck? What are the odds of that? What are the odds of that? Okay. Um, but anyways, scrolls are common. So 289 scrolls, 187 potions. Potions are rare, and you can actually get radiance elixirs, which grants an extra slot. So I got 6, so that's 6 extra slots for me. 9 lost scrolls. They're all legendaries, and these are basically the rarities. I got 31 legendaries, 39 epics, 367 rares, and 289 commons, which in total comes to 726 items. I'm not counting the gold, or the crystallized joys, or the unopened presents, or the accessories which you can get from the presents, because I bought them beforehand, which meant that they just get turned into more crystallized joys, which I'm not gonna comb through 3 hours of footage to just find that. But you can find that if you want. But basically, from opening presents, right, I accrued around 50,000 gold. So 50,000 gold, right? I just want to explain this from like, cause you can get massive amounts of money from this, cause from what I saw in Dusky's like change logs, he might change the gold cap from 50,000 to 200,000. So I just want to mention this before I move on. So 50,000 gold just from opening presents, just from killing mobs itself grants another 50,000, and just from the slime chunks, the mushroom caps, which you can see here, I have 600 and 700. That's another 50,000 gold, and just from the scrolls that you get from opening presents, that's another 50,000 gold. I'm not going above 50,000 because this is currently the max sell limit. I'm sure that this is well over 100,000 gold, but I'm just gonna say it's 50,000, right? And the shards alone is another 50,000 gold. So just from obtaining and opening presents, you can accrue up to 250,000 gold. Wait, let me count that. 5, 1, 1, 5, 2, 2, 5. Okay, 250,000 gold, right? And the funny thing is, right, I'm not a luck build. So if I was a luck build, all of these shards would be pure, which means you can basically max out every weapon, and you would get a ton more drops, basically 2x drops, right? So you could double this. So doubling the amount of money, right? You could get basically 500,000 gold, which is way more than double the next gold cap if Dusky were to implement that 200,000, right? So you could get crazy rich off this, not to mention the fact that it drops so many good items, right? And What else? What else did I want to say? Right, the obtainment part. So basically, what you want to do is you want to get tiny task. I have my preferences as always on top, continuous playback, and 100 times play speed. My recording hotkey is F8, and my playback hotkey is Control Shift Alt P. Basically, what you want to do is you want to get into a tree, and once you encounter an enemy, you want to press F8, start spamming space, start spamming left click, and recording, play recording, and then it should be done. And I just left that on overnight, and I returned, and I had 4,500 crystallized joys. Now, a couple things I want to mention about this is, you see how I'm wearing Paladin Kuros and not the monk armor, or wait, was it the monk armor or the brawler armor? I don't even remember, but not the meta armor for Blade Dancer, right? That's because there's a lot of factors that play into this, like DOTs, trials, and all that. But jumping straight into trials, first of all, I have 2 trials equipped. I actually have all of them equipped. Well, not all of them, but most of them. But I have 2 trials equipped that benefit this mostly. So the first trial is, as you can see here, the Thanos Lud. One of the trials, basically, you obtain it by killing a a sentient darkness. And basically, the trial that it gives is it allows enemies to innately become corrupted at a 25% chance, right? And what that does is, crystallized joy drops out 1, right? From each enemy, they drop 1 crystallized joy. But corrupted enemies are different. They actually drop double the amount of crystallized joys that are in normal enemies. So having this trial basically gives you a 25% increase in the amount of crystallized joys you can get. So that's really important. Another really important factor is there was a trial, I think it's called He Can't Save You. You see how there's this white circle that's surrounding me, right? Which basically means that you can't get encountered until it disappears, like right now. So there's that trial that He Can't Save You. Basically what it does is it allows this white circle to dissipate much faster, because usually when you don't have any trials enabled, usually this white circle protects you from getting encountered for around 10 seconds, I believe, or 15 seconds, I don't really know. But what Dusky did is, because before the current changes, the 2 trials that I mentioned, all the mobs were guaranteed corrupted, and you wouldn't even get the white circle. But Dusky changed it, so the white circle, it stays around you, so you won't be able to get like instant encountered, and basically there's a lot of stuff that happens with that. But basically he changed it to where there is a white circle, but now it just stays for less than 5 seconds, which allows you to basically double the amount of crystallized joy that you can get, rather than not having this trial, which is really, really beneficial to gold and all the other items that you might want to get. And to break down the gear, let me get into save zone real quick. To break down the gear, I have Metrom's Amulet, as you can probably guess why, to kill. Basically, if you don't know, what I'm studying. What Metrom's Amulet does is, it basically, whenever you kill an enemy, it summons a dark blast that kills other enemies. And when that enemy dies, it summons another dark blast to kill another enemy. So like this. See how when they died, they also summoned. This can be really good for farming, especially because the only move you can do while farming this AFK, like efficiently and like at 100% of the time, is striking. So that's why I run a strength build. I ran 150 into strength and 45 into endurance, which gives around 100, I want to say 150 HP, right? And I'm using Paladin Kuros for the 10% physical armor and basically 5% magic armor, which basically makes me take less DOT damage, right? Because I have most of the trials equipped. and DOT stays with me after battle. Basically, so that just helps me stay alive longer, and it provides the percent max health percentage that it gives is around 20%, which that's like another 40 HP. So you're basically like gaining like 5 hits for free. So I've experimented a lot with this macro, so I know the limitations without this armor, and you can die very easily because there are some like statistical improbabilities that happen to me a lot of times where enemies would like dodge 5 times in a row. They would dodge the Metron's amulet, they would dodge basically everything, and I just died even though like I had the most min-max, like I had the most min-max everything, right? And to break down the gear, Vainglorious Locket, because it allows you to attack first, always, and the fact that it gives a 30% damage boost to all enemies, allowing you to insta-kill them even if they're blocking most of the time, unless they're double corrupted. Coagulated Fingernail, basically, I'm not using it for damage. I'm actually just using it so I can survive more because it gives 1.5 skill points to all your stats each turn, up to 15 skill points. So basically what that does is if the enemy were to dodge, like I said, like they dodge 4 times, each time that it's my turn again, I gain another 1.5 endurance, which basically allows me to be tankier and counteract their dodging to not take more damage, right? Wicked Crown, because every enemy in the forest basically has a poison ability now. And if you don't know, you can encounter star slimes, and if you encounter a corrupted star slimes, it's not gonna be good for you because star slimes have an innate damage cap of 5, so you need to hit them 4 times, and if they're corrupted, they basically have double HP, so you need to hit them 8 times, and they can inflict an ungodly amount of poison on you. Not to mention the Thanos Slud. You hit them, they inflict burn, poison, and weaken on you. And they hit you, they inflict poison as well. And they can summon Gones, which can also inflict poison on you. So, Wicked Crown will definitely be needed for this build. Traveler's Lamp, what it does is it gives you 2 energy, but that's not really the main purpose. The main purpose of the Traveler's Lamp is actually just to inflict weakened on all enemies for 3 turns. What weakened does is it allows you to take more hits basically, because the effect of weakened is the person that has weakened deals 20% less damage, right? And the name of the game is just surviving. It's not even about like one-shotting them. It doesn't matter that much. But it's just how long can you survive, because you're not going to be there. You're macroing, right? Most of the time you're going to be asleep, so you can't really micro adjust if anything were to happen badly to your character. And share race, I don't think it really matters. I just chose this slot because it was like the closest one to like the left side of my slots because I have so many. Icewind Sword, the sword doesn't matter, but I would like to think that the Frosted Enchant does, because what it does is when you crit, there's basically a Metron's Amulet Blast, which it hits all enemies for 10 damage and it scales. And the Trello says that it doesn't execute, but it actually does. So if an enemy were to dodge your like strike, right, and you were to proc the Frosted Enchant, the Frosted Enchant would actually kill the enemy for you, so you wouldn't have to stay there for another turn, which helps you to min-max. What else do I want to say? All right, I went full endurance nodes on the skill tree, and basically strength and endurance for the skill tree, but if you were like luck, I would suggest going endurance and luck. But another thing to mention is that my soul tree is max, and this is really important because if you don't have as much like regen as I do that you can get from the soul tree, which is wait, let me try to find it here. Mending, right? if you don't have as much regen as you can possibly get from the soul tree, there's a higher chance of you dying just from burn damage and bleed damage than not having this, right? So this is very important. And another thing is, where is it? Post battle, or sorry, battle renewal. This is very important as well, because there are some times, right, when you're macroing and you just get pummeled. My apologies. You just get pummeled, right? So by the end of the battle, you're like, let's say 20% HP. If you don't have battle renewal, you're gonna only heal around like 10% HP, right? So you're gonna go to 40%, and then you encounter, then you get pummeled again, and then you lose. But with this, you can heal 20% HP, which boosts the which boosts, what am I trying to say? Which boosts your survivability rate by basically 100%. 100% more than what it is, right? Because healing 20% is a lot better than healing 10% after the battle. So that's all I want to say. Just take it with a grain of salt, because I'm basically min-maxing everything. And like when I do come back and I'm like at 10% HP, which never happened, like with this build, but with my other build that I try to use, when I came back at 10 HP, I literally had to use my tier 5 Astra ability, and I doubt everybody has tier 5, right? So I would suggest running this exact build, because I haven't tested all the other classes. But what I have tested is the fact that this only works in forest. I tried in cess grounds, I tried in desert. The night enemies are too strong, especially sentient darkness. You don't want to mess with that. Striking does not kill that unless you're like 6 core dark wraith, but you can't get that before it kills you. So the only place that's really safe is this place, because, well, actually desert I haven't tried. I just know that they do too much damage. Even if they don't do DOT, they do too much damage. And if a golem gets into like 3 core rages and he erupts you, that's like 100 HP. So I don't want to like test that out, because I did test that out like once, and when I came back I was at 20 HP. So after all of that, that is basically how I got here, and that's everything. That's my guide, if you can call it a guide, and that's like, yeah. I hope you guys enjoy. This is the first time that I'm using my microphone, because I really couldn't find a way to explain this through like messages and words. So I hope you guys enjoy. If you want to see more content from me, which I probably won't do, because like I hate editing, but like if I decide to film more and if you like it, please hit the thumbs up. That's about it. See ya.